about Docker file and what's the need of the Docker file. So if you go one step back, during our execution of the containers, we always referred the Ubuntu image where we ran the container. Now assume that you have an application which is on a running on a Ubuntu operating system and with Java JDK and Python. So what we have to do in this case, or what we would do normally, is we basically run a Ubuntu container and then go inside by doing the exec, and we would install Java, Python, or whatever package you need. But that's more difficult because it's always a manual intervention. So the way we can do it is via Docker file. So this is basically a mechanism which facilitates to add your packages or customize your image the way you want. So what we can do here is I can always inherit from the Ubuntu image and write my own custom configurations and build another image out of it, so which can be readily used to run the container and saves a lot of time. So I can show you here a basic sample how it can be done. It's very basic, and also we'll discuss about the practices. So now we have a Docker file, and since I said we need a base image, so I just give Ubuntu 18.04. It's always better to give a tag because we should know the predictability of the image or the traceability. If it's latest, then it's very difficult to see what are the changes in the Ubuntu latest image, and which is not recommended for production usage. Now, after I inherit from the base image, I always, what I do is I run an update on this. So basically the run command is nothing but I run the execution of commands which will be a part of process when the image is created. So I just say apt update. So I will just show two steps here. I just say run apt update, and I just say run apt install -y. Since in the previous example we used netcat to show the intercommunication, so I need a netcat package, and also I need Java. This is just a sample which is used for showing that I can install Java. And then yeah, so this is the way I have installed two different run commands. Now the problem, or the way it happens, is that every command which is run forms a separate layer under the Docker. I can show you that later. So here now from base image is one layer, run apt update is another layer, and run apt install is another layer. Now what happens is that when Docker rebuilds this image, it will use the already existing layer, and it will not change that layer, but it will use the cached one and rebuild on top of it. Now the disadvantage here is that I already have apt update layer, and meanwhile there is update in the apt repository, and I am trying to install from Java 11 to Java 13. What would happen is apt update would not run because the layer is already existing, and uh, it's a bad way of design because there is update on the apt and we don't know about it. So the other way, or the good way, or the only way to do is that we provide it in a single layer. So I just say apt update, and I install all the packages to make sure that the layer is updated every time my apt repositories are updated. So this is a way where we try to consolidate everything into a single layer. The next what I do is I try to copy some files. So let's say I copy a file called myconfig.cfg from my local folder to container with /app/config.cfg. Now I want to create a volume called a data which should be used. Now if you see here, the way these particular layers are defined, they should be in order that from the least changing to the most changing. So the least changing should be always on the top. to make sure that there are minimal changes when update happens. So assume that if this change or an update was at the last line, so every time any change on the line 6 or line 4 would always do a run after update again and update the layer, which is unnecessary. So for that reason, what we do is normally the least changing layers are always at the top and the most changing layers are always at the bottom. Now with this, I also need a work directory. So I just say app. So I make sure that my working directory is app. So this is a plain, very simple Docker file wherein I'm not specifying any user. Now there is another concept of something called an entry point in the command, which I will talk about it. But let's to start with, I'll give a simple command which is called um, bash. So I run a bash command. So basically command is nothing but the command which is given to the container when the container is run. So by default I give a bin slash bash. Yeah, so now I save this and come here, and the command to build the docker file is docker build dot means it will take all the files from the context or in the current folder and tag it. Minus tag, I just say demo, and I can just say latest always, but latest is default, or I can say 1.0.0, but I'll just keep it simple and make it latest. So if you see here, each step is created as a layer here. Let's see what happens. I think I have not created a file called myconfig. Let's see. Takes a while. Yeah, so myconfig.cfg is missing, so I would say touch myconfig.cfg. Now we run the build again. What happens is, if you see, it will reuse the cache here. So if you see, it says using cache, which means that it did not run out update again, it is reusing. Now I just say docker history image, sorry, demo. So if you see here, the layers which are formed are the ones are missing are from the base image Ubuntu, and then which are the layers here formed by my docker file. For example, the one I have given here, the netcat, it's a 400 MBs, and I have some other files of copy file, volume, work directory. So these are the layers which are reused again and again. So if any update happens on the command or the entry point, the below layers are always unchanged, and it makes us to use it very fast. Now our image is ready, so let us try to run our image. -I -d, the name of the image, just say rm minus name is demo, and the image name is also demo. So let's see what happens. ps. Now this image is running, and if you see, the command by default is bash. So now I just say docker exec -I interactive tty, and I give the container name demo, and then I bash. Now I'm inside the container. Now exit. Now by default the command is bin bash, so it can be overridden. So for example, I can just say -it demo and just say ls. So this will show me the command which is run. So bin bash is replaced by ls. So anything after the container name is the command, and I can give anything here. For example, I can just say get, let's say it's empty, so there's nothing there. But if something would be there, this would completely print my config.cfg. So if you see here, anything after demo is a command, and that's what exactly this command is. So command basically tells us that what command has to be executed, and there is something called an entry point. Now the difference between the command and entry point is that the entry point is more if I want to make it as executable, and command is more like a configuration container, so which I would use as, for example, the Ubuntu. I don't want to make this container as executable, but it can be a configuration which can be reused. In the next video, I will show exactly what's the difference between the command and the entry point, and what is difference between a exec command and a shell command, and exec entry point and shell entry point, and what's the best way to write your Docker file with these combinations. Yeah, thank you.